Welcome back. How are you feeling, All Blacks and Springbok fans? Not long to go now before the big test match coming up this weekend, and a crucial test match in the Rugby Championship. South Africa currently with the slight edge, New Zealand looking to make a big statement. Got a few things to go through in this video, a few different talking points, I suppose, ahead of the game, and hopefully later on today we'll have South Africa team news as well. They tend to drop it on a Tuesday. I'm doing a video now just because I know later on I'm working, I'm not going to have time. The team news video will probably come tomorrow, but welcome back to the channel. Drop a comment down below if you're an All Blacks fan or a Springbok fan. How are you feeling ahead of this match? A little bit of nerves perhaps, a lot of excitement, I'll know that because of the rivalry between the two teams. And let me know what you make of the various different points that I'm going to go through. A few different things in terms of the second rows for South Africa, a bit of coaching uncertainty for the All Blacks, and some other things as well. So comment down below, like the video and subscribe to the channel as well whilst you're here. But what an opportunity. That was the thing that I was thinking about when I first kind of turned my eyes towards this match at the start of the week. What an opportunity for both of these sides. It's a massive chance for South Africa to really establish their advantage in the Rugby Championship. They already have the advantage because New Zealand have lost a game. They won both of their matches against the Wallabies, but to really take it by the scruff of the neck, to take this championship, a championship they haven't won since 2019, off the back of winning the World Cup last year, to kind of cement their place as the best in the world. What an opportunity for them to make a big statement this weekend by beating New Zealand. And on the flip side of that, what an opportunity for the All Blacks. Still a little bit of uncertainty, isn't there? And in fact, I'm going to get onto that in just a second, but about where Scott Robertson's All Blacks are. There's been some really good stuff. There's been some maybe little teething problems, but it'll be a massive statement, I think, for them to go away to South Africa and to get the victory. And we know that they are capable of doing it. Yes, South Africa are going to be the favourites, but we know New Zealand have the quality on their day to win as well. And I mentioned uncertainty because that is one of the things when I look at these two teams and I look at this match, there is a bit of uncertainty because rightfully, on the surface, the Springboks are the favourites. They're the World Cup champions. They beat New Zealand in that final. They've won their 2 games to start this year's Rugby Championship, the strength in depth, how much more settled they are, both in terms of their squad. I know there have been changes in the coaching group, but even so, you'd say it's a much more settled coaching group than that of New Zealand. Overall, South Africa are the favourites. But also, and I know this is something that I think most Springbok fans would agree with, there has been, you almost feel like South Africa haven't quite fully hit their best yet this year. They've done what they've needed to do. They won that brilliant test match against Ireland. They beat Australia comfortably, but they still haven't necessarily been at their very best. And there's been that element of uncertainty of, are they going to find that? Are they going to need to find that gear when they face the All Blacks? I think they possibly are going to have to take it up a level. And then also, obviously, New Zealand, the uncertainty that I mentioned already in terms of the players they've lost, the new coaching group, and their performances. They won their 2 test matches against England, but I wouldn't say they didn't blow anyone away. They did brilliantly to come back in those matches and take the game away from England in the final kind of quarter or so. They obviously lost to Argentina, and then they've responded brilliantly to that defeat by then beating Argentina in the next game pretty comfortably. So again, just where New Zealand are, where South Africa are exactly, I think makes it a little bit more intriguing. South Africa will be the favourites, rightly so. But New Zealand, opportunity for them, I think. Definite opportunity for them, but they have to be absolutely on their game and they have to be better than we have seen them be so far. Now, I mentioned the coaching because New Zealand, the backs coach for New Zealand, Leon McDonald, departing the All Blacks setup on the eve of them flying out to South Africa, it's gone down as apparently a mutual decision, him and Scott Robertson having a lot of honest conversations between the two of them. They had different ideas, presumably, about how the team was to attack or how the backs were to work. Whatever it was, we don't know the exact details. I don't know on this one. I don't know what to make of it because on the one hand, I think it's really easy to look at it as an issue and a big issue, particularly when you're just about to face the world champions. It's the start of a new era anyway. You want that kind of solidity and continuity within your coaching group. To be making changes already, on the one hand, is quite concerning. And then on the flip side, and I think this is how New Zealand and New Zealand rugby have tried to approach it, or present it at least, is honest conversations happening between head coach and one of his assistants, them having conflicting ideas on what they wanted to do and therefore making the mature decision to separate and step aside. I don't know the honest answer to that. Those are the two ways of looking at it, and how much of an impact could it possibly have this weekend. But I still think it's definitely an important part of this game and of the build-up to this game when you look at one of the assistants stepping away, and so they've had to rejig the coaching responsibilities and things like that within the New Zealand setup. Let me know, what do you make of it? Between those two things, where are you? Are you kind of on the scale of this is an issue, this is concerning, or actually this is a mature decision between grown men, between coaches? Let me know. Into the South African team, I suppose that the big headline for them, which came out of yesterday on Monday, is second row, right? Is injuries and second row. Eben Etzebeth is an uncertainty. Snyman and Murat apparently not ready to play. So what do they do at second row? Now, fortunately, it's an area where they're so experienced and got so much quality that you'd say maybe they're going to be all right. I would imagine at the moment, is that going to be Pieter-Steph du Toit and Ruan Nortje in the second row? That as the pairing, which I think it was for the last game against Australia, wasn't it, for a lot of the test match after they had injuries. They've obviously got Janty van Rensburg has been called back into the squad. That's been a bit of a surprise inclusion as well. Really, really good line-out caller. I'd imagine possibly that's part of the reason that he is there. But is it going to be Pieter-Steph and Nortje that are going to be starting in the second row? And then what sort of impact does that have when you're losing the experience and the power and the quality of an Etzebeth, for example, when there's other players that aren't ready to play yet? You know, you talk about the power game being so crucial here, and if you look back to the test matches, actually last year, whether it's the World Cup final or whether it was when they played in the Rugby Championship, I still really remember quite vividly when New Zealand beat them. It was in New Zealand, but the power game of the All Blacks, that was the first time in 2023 I remember looking at it and thinking, hang on a minute, this New Zealand team, they might be onto something. And they were 1 point away from that ending up as being world champions because their power game was such that they took it up a level and were utterly brilliant in that game. I think they're going to have to be again here. What does the Springboks second row issues, injuries, absentees mean for that? Are New Zealand going to be able to get there? And that's the final point of the video that I wanted to end on. The physical edge for New Zealand, I think, is going to be absolutely crucial. We haven't quite seen them nail that so far. They got close, didn't they, against Argentina in their last game, and they were much improved in their last game, particularly set piece, the scrum, with what we've seen previously. But England were kind of able to match them. All right, England don't have the power of the Boks, but Argentina were able to get the better of them in a test match. You know, when facing the Springboks in South Africa, New Zealand are going to have to be there physically, I think, in a position where they haven't been so far. We know they're great at the breakdown. We saw that throughout last year. We've seen that at times this year as well. They can cause South Africa issues there. But in terms of the all-round physicality of all the areas of the game that you have to be, that's going to be absolutely crucial. And of course, in South Africa is somewhere New Zealand have a pretty damn good record. We talk about this rivalry and what a huge rivalry it is. Biggest rivalry in rugby comfortably. Even though there are some other fixtures that have more history and whatever. I think this is easily the biggest rivalry. But actually New Zealand have a good record in South Africa. But an opportunity to go back to the point I started the video on, opportunity for both of these teams. Going to be a great test match. I'll hopefully try and do a team news video tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to have time today. By the time you're watching this, the team news might already be out anyway. But drop a comment down below. How do you see this game going? And what do you make of the various points I've gone through in this video and how significant they could be in terms of the context of the result of this test match? Let me know. Comment down below, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.